Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something I know a lot of you are curious about: Bangkok's real estate,
Oh, yes.
specifically residential.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's a fascinating time to look at it because, I mean, the city's roaring back to life after COVID,
Right.
but that recovery
Yeah.
isn't impacting every part of the market the same way.
True.
Some sectors are like on fire while others are
Yeah.
cooling down a little.
Exactly.
So we're going to dig into that.
Yeah, let's get into the why
Hmm.
behind all of this and, figure out what it means for
Yeah.
all of
I
us
know,
who are watching.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's start with the part that is absolutely booming:
Yeah.
rentals.
Right.
Our sources show that rental prices in Bangkok jumped 3%
Wow.
just this past quarter,
Yeah.
which is not a small amount.
No, that's a huge surge.
That's a huge surge.
Yeah.
And some areas, like if you look at Thonburi and Sampantawong,
Okay.
they're seeing even bigger jumps, like close to 8%. Oh, wow.
So that makes me wonder, what is driving this demand?
Huh.
Is everyone suddenly moving to Bangkok?
Well, maybe not everyone,
Right.
but think about it. All the tourists are coming back.
Oh.
Business travel is picking up again.
Yeah.
And all those people need somewhere to stay.
Got to live somewhere.
Exactly. And so that means short-term rentals are in high demand, and when demand is high,
Well,
prices go up.
right. That's basic economics.
Yeah.
So I guess if I were coming off a plane in Bangkok tomorrow
Yeah.
and needed a place for a couple months,
Yeah.
I better be ready to pay.
You got it. And it's interesting because when we talk rentals in Bangkok, we're mainly talking condos.
Oh, really?
Like 93% of rentals are condos.
Wow.
And the ones that are really hot right now
Yeah.
are those in that, 10,000 to 30,000 baht range.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So if you're, thinking about getting into this rental game,
Yeah.
knowing that sweet spot, that's helpful information. Okay. So rentals are hot. Got it. But here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It's almost like a plot twist in a movie.
All right.
While rentals are going through the roof,
Uh-huh.
overall sale prices in Bangkok,
You okay?
they've actually dipped.
Really?
Yeah, and not just a little dip either. We're talking like a 10% drop
Wow.
compared to last quarter and an 18% year-on-year decrease.
So the year ago, prices were 18% higher.
Yeah,
That's wild.
I know. That seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, you would think if rentals are booming, sales would be too.
Right, exactly. So what's the deal?
So it's not as straightforward as you might think. It's like a puzzle.
Okay.
Remember, some areas, like those central business districts, CBDs,
Right.
and the places near public transportation, they're holding strong, even seeing some price increases.
Okay.
But the market overall, it's adjusting, It's finding its new balance,
Right.
which can lead to these seemingly opposite trends.
So for those of us who aren't real estate experts, what does that mean? Like, is this a buyer's market?
That's a good question, and it's not a simple answer.
Right.
There's nuance here. We're seeing fewer condos on the market now,
Okay.
but more houses and townhouses are popping up.
Oh, interesting.
So it could be that after COVID, with all those lockdowns and everything,
Yeah.
buyers are looking for more space.
Makes sense. I felt that pull myself.
Right. So it's all about what you, the listener, are prioritizing.
Exactly.
More space. A townhouse with a garden, maybe?
Yeah, or a super convenient condo downtown.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get to the big question. Is now the time to buy in Bangkok?
Ooh, the million-dollar question.
I know, right? Our sources seem to think it might be a good opportunity before prices rebound.
Well, timing is key, right? Like with any investment.
Right.
Tourism is bouncing back, and that's going to have a huge impact on both rentals and sales.
Makes sense.
As more tourists come back, demand goes up, and so do prices.
So it's a bit like trying to time the stock market.
Exactly. You want to buy low, sell high, but knowing when.
Yeah.
That's the tough part.
It is.
So do your research. Don't jump in blindly.
Right.
Understand the different neighborhoods, what your priorities are,
Right.
and weigh those risks and rewards.
So Bangkok real estate is a bit of a puzzle right now.
It is.
Yeah.
But with the right information,
Yeah.
you can put those pieces together.
Okay, so we've learned that rentals are hot thanks to all the tourists and business travelers coming back.
Mm-hmm.
But the sales market is a bit more complex.
Yeah.
Prices are down overall, but some areas are doing well.
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's like two sides of the same coin, and we need to understand both sides to really make good choices.
Absolutely.
But before we get too far ahead, let's zoom in on the sale prices a little closer. What's really driving that dip?
That's where things get even more interesting.
Okay, I like where this is going.
And that's exactly what we'll uncover in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Can't wait. Okay, so we know that the Bangkok sales market is kind of a mystery right now. Prices are down overall,
Right.
but some areas are, steady or even going up. It's a little bit like real estate roulette out there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like that.
So let's spin that wheel. What's really going on with these sale prices?
Well, one of the big things I think is just supply and demand.
Well, of course.
During the pandemic, construction slowed down a lot,
Right.
and that meant fewer new properties coming onto the market.
Yeah.
But now things are picking back up. Developers are trying to catch up.
Make up for lost time.
Exactly. And so that means more units are available, especially in those popular areas like the CBDs and places near public transit.
So it's like a flood of new inventory is hitting the market.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
And that's pushing prices down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More sellers than buyers means sellers have to lower prices. It's just like basic economics.
Right. It makes sense. But you mentioned earlier that certain types of properties are also changing. Like we're seeing fewer condos, but
Right.
more houses and townhouses.
That's right.
What's going on there?
So that's where it gets really interesting, I think. It seems like buyers' preferences are changing.
Okay.
Maybe because of the whole pandemic experience.
Yeah.
People want more space now. They want private outdoor areas. And maybe they're looking for more of a sense of community
Right.
than they can get in a high-rise condo building.
So it's like the pendulum is swinging back. For years, condos were like the thing in cities like Bangkok.
Yeah.
But now people are rediscovering houses and townhouses. Do you think that's a lasting change or just a temporary thing?
That's a great question. I wish I had a crystal ball,
Right.
but it's definitely something to watch. I mean, if people keep wanting houses and townhouses,
Yeah.
we could see their prices go up while condo prices stay flat or even drop more.
So for someone thinking about getting into the Bangkok real estate market,
Yeah.
knowing what types of properties are trending up or down, that could be a big deal.
Absolutely. And this is where doing your research is really important.
Right.
You need to understand those specific neighborhoods, figure out what's in demand.
So it's not just about finding a good price.
Right. It's about making a smart decision based on what's actually happening in the market.
So understanding those underlying forces.
Exactly.
Now, we've talked about the overall drop in sales prices, but are there any areas in Bangkok that are actually doing well? Like any hidden gems where prices are holding steady or even going up?
There always are. Bangkok is no exception. Like we mentioned before, those CBDs
Right.
and areas with easy access to public transport,
Mm-hmm.
they're generally doing pretty well. Those are prime locations.
Right.
Usually not a lot of available property, so demand stays high.
So location, location, location.
It's a cliche, but it's true. Especially in a city like Bangkok, where convenience and accessibility are so important.
Yeah, if you live in the city center, you're close to everything. You might not even need a car.
Exactly. You can walk, take public transport. That's a big draw for a lot of people.
And that's probably a big reason why prices in those areas are higher.
Exactly. People are willing to pay more for that convenience and lifestyle.
So if you're looking to invest in Bangkok real estate,
Uh-huh.
focusing on those areas could be a good strategy.
It's definitely something to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Properties in CBDs and near transit hubs have historically done well. Of course, nothing's guaranteed in real estate,
Right.
but these areas tend to be a bit more resilient when the market goes up and down.
So even though the market overall is having a bit of a dip,
Yeah.
there are still opportunities for people who know where to look.
That's the key. Bangkok's real estate market is complex. You need to understand those nuances, the trends, the different factors that influence the market.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Uh-huh. I like that.
The more you look, the more you find.
I agree. And there's still another layer to peel back here.
Okay.
We've talked about rentals, sales, those areas that are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
But what does all of this actually mean for our listeners?
Mm-hmm.
How can they use this information for their own real estate journey in Bangkok?
That's the question.
That's what we'll be tackling in the final part of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we've gone through a lot, ups and downs in Bangkok's real estate market. We've seen those crazy rentals,
Right.
the slower sales, and even those like bright spots.
Yeah, those pockets of opportunity.
Exactly. But let's bring it all home. What does all this mean for you listening?
Right. I mean, we've been on this deep dive together looking at the trends and all the data,
Yeah.
trying to make sense of it all. But knowing stuff is only useful if you can, actually use it.
Totally. So how can people listening actually use this information to figure out their own real estate journey in Bangkok?
Yeah, and it's interesting because this market is like it's almost like one of those choose your own adventure books, you know?
Oh, I love
So
those.
many paths you can take depending on what your goals are, your budget, how much risk you're comfortable with.
Right.
Like, are you just looking for a short-term rental
Yeah.
to experience that Bangkok energy?
Yeah.
Or are you dreaming of, like, owning a piece of Bangkok? Maybe as an investment or a place to, settle down.
Right.
Or, hey, maybe you want to be a landlord
Oh, yeah.
and get in on that hot rental market.
That's true.
There are so many options, and I think the stuff we've talked about can really help you make those choices.
Okay, so let's say you are ready to rent. What are the biggest things from our deep dive that can help you find a good place?
Okay, so first off, be ready for some competition. That rental market is hot, 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 especially
Mm.
for condos in that, like, 10,000 to 30,000 bat range.
Right, those sweet spot condos.
Exactly. You got to be ready to, like, jump on a good deal when you see it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't hesitate.
It's almost like dating.
It is. You see a place you like, got to make a move before someone else gets it.
Okay, so no hesitating. And what about location?
Location. Well, remember, convenience comes at a price.
Right.
If you want to be right in the middle of it all, close to the CBDs, near all the transportation,
Yeah,
be prepared to pay a bit more.
makes sense.
But, if you're okay with going a little further out from the center,
Yeah.
you might find some really good deals.
Okay.
And you won't have to sacrifice too much on getting around.
So it's like finding that balance between what you can afford and, the lifestyle you want.
Exactly.
What if you're thinking bigger, though? Like, you want to buy property.
Ah, okay, yeah.
What advice do you have for someone looking to buy in Bangkok right now?
So this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Prices are down overall.
Right.
So there's definitely potential there for buyers. But
Okay.
it's not just about buying low. It's got to be about buying smart.
Oh, okay. So how do you buy smart in this market?
First,
Yeah.
research. Seriously.
Oh,
Understand those neighborhoods.
right.
Like, are you someone who loves the energy of Sukhumvit? Or do you, like, prefer that historical vibe of Rattanakosin?
Ooh, good question.
Each area has its own personality, its own price range, and its own potential for your investment to grow.
So choosing the right neighborhood is just as important as the property itself.
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And think long term. What are your goals here? Are you buying this to live in?
Yeah.
As an investment? Or maybe both.
Right.
And that'll help you make decisions along the way. And hey, remember what we talked about before, those shifting preferences?
Well, right.
Are you someone who wants that spacious house or townhouse?
Hmm.
Or is a modern condo right downtown more your style?
Yeah, you got to know what you want.
Exactly. And here's a question for everyone listening. Thinking about everything we've discussed, what areas in Bangkok really stand out to you?
Ooh. Yeah.
Like if you were seriously thinking about buying or renting,
Right.
what neighborhoods would you want to learn more about?
It's like we've given you a treasure map,
Uh-huh.
and now it's your turn to choose your own adventure.
I love that.
Well,
And
it's
whether
very-
you're like drawn to the excitement of the city center,
Or maybe a quieter area. Bangkok has so many
it
possibilities.
does.
It really does.
And as the city keeps changing and growing, there are going to be more and more real estate opportunities
Yeah.
for those who, do their homework,
Right.
are prepared and ready for the adventure.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, our deep dive into Bangkok's residential real estate. We've looked at the trends, the data, and hopefully we've given you the knowledge to make your own smart choices in this market.
Hopefully.
I think so. But remember, this is just the start. Real estate is always evolving, so stay curious, keep learning, and hey, maybe your next chapter unfolds right here in Bangkok. Thanks for joining us.